video, I'm going to show you how to bring in these assets from the marketplace. These are completely free assets. We're going to bring them into our level, kind of do a little prototyping and learning how to do level design inside here. And then once we get through, we'll package it out and put it on your desktop. Okay, so back in our main menu, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install Git. And I'm going to assume that you already have Git installed. If not, I can make a video, or you can look up a video about installing Git and using GitHub for source control. Source control comes in very handy, especially if your project starts getting bigger and bigger. This is a small project, but it's always important to have a backup. Now you can use backups on your hard drive, or you can use them, cloud-based backup, and that's kind of what GitHub is. So go to source control, connect to source control, and it's going to say none, and then we'll use Git beta version. And the Git path is where you have Git installed at. If you have it installed somewhere else, be sure you go and find that. And then it's going to bring up the root of the repository, which is our third person, my name, email, and pretty much it pretty much preloads all of this. The only thing we are going to add is the add Git attributes for Git LFS. Git LFS is for large file storage, and automatically GitHub puts a limit on how much data you can upload. I think the limit is like 2 gigabytes. And with U assets and all that, it pretty much takes up that amount of space. So we're going to want to add this to it. This is the basic README file. Third person test developed with Unreal Engine 4. You don't have to have a README file, but I just leave it on there, just, for whichever. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty easy to set up. Like I said, if you need help setting up Git, I can make a video about downloading Git and GitHub, and then initializing Git LFS. There's tons of resources out there for this, and actually the makers of GitHub will help you with this also. So yeah, let's go ahead and say accept settings. I'm so sorry, I told you the wrong one. You gotta initialize it with the Git first. My bad. Okay, I'm sure you just saw that. You be sure after you initialize it with Git, you also accept the settings. Other than that, we are good to go. If you go back up to your source control, you can go to submit source control. And what it's going to be looking for is anything with a plus arrow. Okay, with this plus arrow, it means it's ready to be submitted to source control. And so when you say submit, everything that we have loaded in here is here. And we do have the starter content, so all this stuff is here. And when we go to submit this, it's going to upload this into our GitHub desktop, and from there we can push it up to GitHub. So let's go ahead and say created test project with starter content and third person content. Now, unless you're working on a team, nobody's ever going to see this. What these are, your commits, or if you have it set to public. So this is mainly for yourself. The great thing about source control is you can always roll back. And what that means is, let's say we submit this and we do, a whole bunch of work, and we end up, breaking the engine for some reason, which happens quite a bit in Unreal. So if you break the engine, you can always roll back, which means you will just download this, your last commit, open it up with this commit, and then, it's kind of magically fixed, but you're just going back to your last save, pretty much what it's doing. So go ahead and hit submit. Okay, once that is submitted, next what we're going to do is we're going to lower this down and go to our GitHub desktop. And let's find our repository. So right now I do not have the repository on here. So we'll have to locate this, which pretty much just means go to your, where you have this folder saved. You can go and find it, which it is, mine's right here, third person test. And you're really just wanting to open up the first layer. Open up third person test. And then, no, not third person shooter. I don't know why I clicked on that one. We want the third person test. They select folder, add repository. And then since we initialized it inside the engine, we're going to initialize it with git LFS. And it's ready to be published. Okay, once that's finished, we are good to go. All of our commits have been pushed up to the master branch. It's kind of a quick little rundown. I'm not gonna get too far into GitHub. If you want to make another branch off your master, you can always click new branch, and you can, this keeps your branch from, messing up your master branch. If you're working solo or independently, I mean, really you don't need another branch. It's always good practice though. But for right now, we're not going to worry about that. So back in the engine, what we got going on right now is in our level 1, it's looking kind of, bland. So what we want to do is we want to be able to add some assets into here. And the best way to do this is let's head on over to the marketplace. So we'll lower this back down again. Lower that down, go to Epic Games Launcher. Inside the marketplace. And what we're going to be looking for is Infinity Blade Grasslands. That's because I added an S to the blade. And so we're going to add this to our project. If you don't have it, I've already got this, you may have to purchase it. It's completely free. So we'll just say add to project, and we're going to add it straight to this project. Once you have the Infinity Blades Grasslands uploaded, next what I want you to do is type in Paragon Greystone, and we're also going to add this character to our project to give it some more pizzazz. So back in our game, if you look in your content folder, you should have 2 new folders, one being for the Paragon Greystone and one being for Infinity Blades Grassland. And let's look into the Grasslands folder first. It has environments, maps, and effects. And if you click on, the environments, and let's look in the earth, and we want the static meshes. It's going to give us all the different types of plants that they have, so we can drag a tree in. And let's go ahead and let's drag in a little bush. Maybe another little bush. And we can also drag in another small tree. And if you notice, none of my trees or any of my stuff looks like a tree would. And that being is it's compiling the shaders. So as that compiles, they'll start getting more detailed. And the cool thing about the Grasslands is it's already, the trees mostly animated, meaning that they have wind going against them, wind effects and everything. So it's fairly built. Next, what we want to do is we want to swap out our character. The mannequin's okay, but let's go ahead and swap out our character inside of our level editor. Let's go back up here, game mode, edit third person game mode. What we're going to do, we're going to create a new game mode. So, okay, so right click and then we'll go to blueprint class. We're going to create a new game mode. And this is going to be our, what are we going to call it? Let's do level game mode. And we're going to add this to this blueprint level. And we're looking for a level game mode. And inside our level game mode, let's go ahead and open that up. Just drag that over here. We're going to go to where our default pawn class is. And we're going to look for Greystone player character. Okay, after you add your default pawn class, your Greystone player character as your default pawn class, this is all we need to do right here in this. It's going to compile shaders, so this may take some time. Once this gets done, meet me back here and we'll go back through this. Okay, hopefully it didn't take very long. Let's go back to our level. And inside of your level, you should still have your third person mannequin here. What we're going to do is we're going to delete him. And now if you hit play, automatically it's going to load in our Greystone character. You can run around, you'll have all this, all of his animation, everything set up because we are using inside of our game mode. If you go back to our level blueprints, or go back to our level game mode, we have the Greystone player character already set up as our default pawn class. So go back to our level 1, and then in here, I'm going to show you how to do a few little basic things. You can, as you just saw, you can select an item and you can hit delete, or you can move it around, whichever you want to do. At this point, I do encourage you to go back to the Infinity Blades environment and just start placing, whatever you want somewhere. Get used to moving things around in the level editor. This is just going to be a basic, test where we're going to put, a few little things in here. In the next video, we will go more in depth on adding, just different items in here. And there we have it. You have your first basic level. In the next one, we will come back to this and add some more. What we're going to add in here is we're going to do an overlap to where whenever the player gets up close to here, we'll do a print string meaning, you know, that it'll come up on the screen. You'll hit F to enter, and when we enter it here, we'll load into a whole new level. In that level, we'll do a little bit more level design, give it a little bit better aspects, maybe do a cave or something. So yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video. One more thing I wanted to point out too is since we've loaded all of this, and this being the Infinity Blades Grassland, the Paragon Greystone, along with doing all of this editing in the level itself, what we really need to do is we need to go to our source control, and we need to submit this to our source control. Save selected, and we'll say added Greystone character, added Grasslands, and changed level 1 a lot, and then hit submit. And I hope you saw all those question marks. The question marks mean that it's been loaded into the game itself, but we haven't done anything with it. Like, we haven't looked at it, we haven't opened it up, we haven't done anything with it, meaning it has been checked out. It's still going to save it to our source control, and it's still going to, you know, save it up into our file, but we just haven't interacted with it. And after we save it, it won't have a question mark or the plus mark. All right, all that's been committed. Let's go to here, and we're going to say push to origin. Okay, once you have your level completely built out and it's ready to go, what we're going to do next is we're going to package this out just like we did in the last video. And the reason why you want to make sure you package it out often is to make sure you're not running into any errors, because you don't want to do a whole lot of work inside here and then get ready to package your game and then run into a whole bunch of errors. So if you save often, package often, you will be able to come across your errors and fix them as you go. So make sure you have your full rebuild selected, and then go to your file, and then we'll go down to package project, Windows 64-bit. We'll select that, put it back in my test project, build 1, select folder, and then once this gets through building, I'll meet you back here. All right, hopefully that didn't take very long. Let's go ahead and we'll minimize this. Find your folder that you saved this in. Drag mine over here. Once again, we'll have our Windows no editor. We want the executable, so the third person test. And we have our main menu. You can click exit. You'll exit out of here. You can click third person test, click start, and it loads us straight into the game. All right, there you go. Hopefully you had fun doing this. Hopefully your level looks a little bit different than mine is. And the next one, like I said, we'll go in here. We're going to add in an overlap character. I say character. We're going to add an overlap collision event right here. That way, when the player walks close enough to the door, we'll load into the second level, and then that'll probably be the end of this series. So, all right, we'll see you then.